¿qué tal Latinoamérica? Soy José Iorio, me encuentro en la ciudad de New York. ¡Happy Pride! El día que celebramos el amor, el orgullo, la diversidad. El día que celebramos que podemos amar como queremos amar, que podemos ser como queramos ser. Pero ¿dónde comenzó toda nuestra historia? Aquí justamente, un 28 de junio de 1969 en Stonewall, un pequeño barrio de New York, se generó un movimiento que inspiró esta gran fuerza que nos dio la libertad hoy.
CBS News commissioned a survey by the Opinion Research Corporation into public attitudes toward homosexuality. We discovered that Americans consider homosexuality more harmful to society than adultery, abortion, or prostitution.
A fines de la década de 1960, en la mayoría de los estados de Estados Unidos todavía era ilegal ser homosexual. Ni una sola ley protegía a los homosexuales de la discriminación. Ese verano, la policía de la ciudad de New York allanó The Stonewall Inn, un popular bar gay en Greenwich Village, irritando a los clientes que estaban cansados de ser acosados. Los disturbios de Stonewall marcaron un antes y un después para la comunidad LGBTQ+, que en 1969 erigió por primera vez al mundo su reconocimiento.
¿Quién dice el refrán? En la unión está la fuerza. ¿Y cómo podemos celebrar el orgullo y la diversidad si no nos unimos como hermanos? Justamente desde aquí tenemos un invitado muy especial. Vamos con ella. Very happy because I'm with a person that is just an inspiration. I'm here with Stacy Lentz. You are the co-owner and you're an LGBTQ community activist. I know you've been an activist for over 10 years, dedicating yourself to improving the life of our community.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm really excited to be here. Really excited to have a conversation with you all about it. And happy Pride to everyone out there.
Yes, happy Pride. You know, Stonewall is a national monument for gay rights. And aside from this historical significance, it's a pretty damn good bar, you know? And why do you think we as a community resonate so closely with Stonewall? Is it because we're standing on the back of our brave and beautiful gay ancestors here?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you have to remember that during that time period, back in 1969, that, you know, they were so oppressed. They didn't even have the ability to be served alcohol typically in a regular bar. That's why Stonewall was mafia owned, right? So they were so oppressed. And now those brave men and women stood up and said, we're here, we're queer, get used to it, and stood up against police and against kind of that mentality. So they paved the way for everything that you and I have today. Without them, there probably wouldn't be this modern day LGBTQ rights movement. They really started this entire thing. And it's definitely the place where Pride began. Because after the riots in 1969, the bar closed, but hundreds of organizations popped up all around America and even started to across the world. And to commemorate the Stonewall riots, the following year in 1970, on the same exact time period, always the last Sunday in June, we had the first ever Gay Liberation Front march. And that went from the Stonewall and it marched up to Central Park. And that was the first ever real gay pride parade or march or celebration. And so that's why we have gay pride all over the world, is because of what happened in Stonewall on June 28th, 1969.
All over the world, as you said.
All over the world.
And we're living in a very extraordinary time for the whole planet, because for the first time, we all, as one, we're living same consequences, but at the same time, there's a big awakening. So now we live this incredible, beautiful, and inspiring movement of the Black Lives Matter that we are getting united. And it really feels to me like back then, that 28th of June, many years ago, when people went to the street, no matter if we're gay or not, they were all fighting for the right. So what do you think that we need to focus on in the years ahead?
Yeah, because I mean, you have to remember that queer people of color, especially trans women of color, were central figures in the Stonewall riots, right?
Yes.
They were out there fighting and central figures. So again, those movements, there's an intersectionality. We have people in our community that are Black and queer. We have people in our community that because of the color of their skin, they don't even have the same privileges that I have as a white woman in America, right? So we've got to fight for them, and we've got to keep uniting that, and we've got to make sure that Pride itself this year goes back to its roots. It's not a celebration, it is a protest. Pride is born out of protest and out of a riot. So we need to make sure that we're fighting, we're amplifying Black queer voices more than ever this year.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we're having those conversations about the intersectionality of the two movements.
And that's the most beautiful present that we can give ourselves and everybody that we love. And as the song says, we are family.
Exactly.
Thank you, Stacey. We were having a beautiful conversation with Stacey Lance. Again, you're an inspiration. And your last word for the whole planet that are watching you.
Thank you very much. And happy Pride, everybody. And don't forget, the fight's not over. Keep fighting for everybody.
Bueno, y recordamos un poquito más de nuestra historia. Y recuerda cada año cuando celebras el Día del Orgullo de la Diversidad, el Día del Pride, hubo antes de nosotros una generación que luchó por nuestros derechos. Sé la voz y sé parte del cambio. Hasta luego, soy José Llorio.